exploration of New York, the greatest old world buildings. New York City, one of the old. Welcome and thank you for joining me for our exploration of New York, the greatest old world buildings. New York City, one of the older cities in the United States on the East Coast, situated on one of the largest natural harbors in the world, and currently one of the largest metropolitan areas in the world, the most densely populated city in the United States, and the largest city in the United States. This is often an area that is difficult for alternative researchers because, according to the narrative, this city has had a European presence on it since 1624, and it's been continuously occupied since then. Here's a photo from the 1860s, and this is what we'd expect to see. A very well built out city that makes a lot of sense for a forward term as either Victorian or Elizabethan architecture. We see another photo from the early 1870s, and again, this being the largest natural harbor in the world, or one of the largest, and the city that's developed on it at this time, it's already been around for nearly 200 years. So this makes sense. There is not a series of conflicting accounts of the narrative that we can easily find. Look over here at the Battery on Manhattan Island. And our exploration is going to focus on Manhattan Island, specifically looking at the skyline, art proof, or at least what we can derive from images. And here we see basements, while the other stories were rented to tenants. The World Building's design generally received notable buildings in the city having either been demolished or threatened with demolition. Although the Singer Building was considered to be one of the most iconic buildings in New York City, they never considered designating it as a landmark, which would have prevented its demolition. And from 1967 to 1969, they demolished it. Tragedy. You can see in the photo on the right what the demolition looks like, and it's strange because of the fact that it could almost be mistaken for a construction photo. And you have to wonder, most incredible for last, the Empire State Building, the 102-story patented Art Deco skyscraper in Midtown Manhattan. Designed by Shreve, Lamb and Harmon and built from 1930 to 1931 during the Great Depression. They put up the tallest building in the world at 1,250 feet, a record it held until it was surpassed by the World Trade Center in 19. How did they do it in such a short amount of time and during the Great Depression? Did you know that a B-25 bomber crashed into the north side of the Empire State Building in 1945? Apparently it was an accident that killed 14 a column of smoke or steam. We're told that this bomber crashed in the north side of the building and that this event killed 14 people. However, this was not considered a major event because at no point in time did the structural integrity of the building face any sort of stress from this incident. Isn't this very interesting? And this is a photo that was taken after the B-25 had crashed in the north side of the Empire State Building. Really? You can sort of see the fire up there towards the top floors behind that column of smoke or steam, or whatever's in the foreground. Interesting photo and very blurry. I guess it does indicate that it could be foggy or it's just the smoke. Hard to say. It's very intriguing to me that this did happen, and here's a photo from the cleanup. And yet this was a minor inconvenience for the Empire State Building. It did not threaten its structural integrity, and the very next day after this accident, the floor was open and they were operating as if nothing had happened. They really knew how to build them back then, didn't they? And they could build them in a very short amount of time. And I've been to the Empire State Building. It was back in 2006, and I remember just being awed at its size and yet the detail that you see in the base. And of course, they'll call it the Art Deco style. But it's still just amazing the amount of time that this stellar skyscraper was constructed. And here's some of the interior, the elevators that you can go into. There's just something, again, otherworldly about this building. Yet it seems like it's something that we built. We're told that our civilization built it. People always want to say, well, they had more money back then. I just don't know. Consider joining the channel as a member. You can be an explorer and receive early access to content,